Pilot Mr. Cool Guy here. And, well, you know, facts. They're interesting. And what is a fact? Well, it's a fact that you're here for more random facts. Why? Just 'cause you want to hear some interesting facts. Will all of them be interesting? Oh, sure. Whether or not they're happy interesting or just like, why, humanity, why? Well, you gotta stick around to find out. So, as always, randoms, it's time for 10 more random facts you may or may not know. Starting with fact number 1. Deer dentures. A set of false teeth worn by the late Detroit Tigers baseball legend Ty Cobb sold at auction in 2022 for $18,840. Cobb died in 1961. That's a long time to keep around a set of dentures. Oh, but that's because, they're from a famous person, so, that's, and as always, because it's from a famous person, it gets sold for lots of money at an auction. But that's just a lot of money for a pair of dentures. Dentures! Used dentures. Ugh, no, why? Who would even want to buy a pair of used dentures? Dentures that have been in someone's mouth. Why would you want that? I don't care if they're from some dead famous baseball player. They're used dentures. Dentures. People, get your priorities straight. What's next? You're gonna pay a bunch of money at an auction for a celebrity's used Q-tip? Don't get any ideas. I know there's at least one person out there who would do that. 'Cause I don't even know why. I don't want to know why. How about we move on? Would you like that? I know I would, and I'm sure you would. So let's move on to fact number 2. Sketch flex. Rahasena van Dam from the Netherlands can use both hands and feet to create 8 detailed drawings at the same time. Rahasena started making realistic art when she was 16 years old. Since then, her work has been seen all around the world. In 2019, she challenged herself to draw with both hands. A few years later, she added both feet into the mix. To understand how she can do so many things at once, Rahasena had a brain scan called an electroencephalogram, or EEG for short. It showed that the right and left sides of her brain are 3 times more connected than average. That is impressive. To be able to do 8 paintings at once with both of your hands and your feet. And it's not like you're using both feet to draw one while both hands draw a second one. No. You're drawing one with one hand, one with the other hand, one with one foot, and another with the other foot. Like, that is wild. I mean, that has to take some dedication to practice to be able to do that. Right? I mean, we've had some great painters. And, now there's her. Bob Ross would be proud. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, indeed, he would be. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 3. Mighty Marble. Weighing an incredible 12,500 pounds or 5,670 kilograms and towering 17 feet or 5 meters tall, Michelangelo's David is a true giant in the world of art. How do you clean something as tall as an adult giraffe? Ask Eleonora Pucci, a restorer who has the high-pressure job of cleaning this 500-plus-year-old masterpiece. To keep David looking his best, she uses fine brushes, a vacuum, and soft fabrics to gently remove dust and dirt. She also carefully climbs 2-story-high scaffolding to reach David's famous face. Any small mistake could damage one of the world's greatest sculptures, so her job takes a lot of skill. Mostly hidden behind hedges, this twin is made of pure Carrara marble from Tuscany, Italy, the same quarry where Michelangelo acquired the marble for his masterpiece. Dang, that is some detailed cleaning. Very fine cleaning at that. Wow, I mean, that is crazy. A replica of the Statue of David by Michelangelo. That is... I mean, you have your replica of, like, the Eiffel Tower in, like, Vegas or whatever, and, there's replicas of certain famous paintings or sculptures or landmarks and whatnot. But dang, that is wild. Man, I can't imagine how steady of a hand you'd have to clean something like that. Because, unlike a painting, preparing a sculpture, that would be a little harder, right? That's why you gotta be very careful. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 4. Faithful friend. When 84-year-old Gregorio Romero got lost in the desert, his pet dog tracked him for nearly 2 miles, or 3.2 kilometers, through ravines and hills. Gregorio had been missing for a week when El Palamo led the rescue party to the exact spot where Gregorio had become stranded, near his home in Moctezuma, Mexico. The brown dog then waited outside his owner's hospital room for 2 days while he was being treated. That is crazy. Man, that's why it's good to have a dog. Right? Because if you're ever in a situation like that and no one's able to find you, well, having a dog can be helpful. Because it'll be able to find you. Because dogs are good trackers. Sometimes better than humans. Right? You do gotta train dogs, and it's a process, but that dog can become your best friend. right? Mm-mm-mm. That's a good boy right there. Real good boy. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 5. Hippo horror. 2-year-old Iga Paul survived being half swallowed by a hippo. The boy was playing near his home in Kasese, Uganda, when he was snatched headfirst by the hippo. It then tried to swallow him, but the hippo was forced to regurgitate the child unharmed after stones were thrown at it. Ooh, man, that had to have been scary for the child, but let this be a lesson. Hippos are not friendly. Hippos are strong. They have strong jaws. So do not approach a hippo. It will not snuggle up to you like your pet dog at home. Or if you're one of those people that have exotic pets, like a tiger or whatever, going up to a hippo would not be smart. Because you could die. If snakes can eat you whole, imagine what a hippo can do to you. And do not approach it. Because they will tear you up. Because you're a snack. Unless you're big. Then you might count as a meal. Just saying. Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 6. Megaquake. The 1755 Great Lisbon earthquake destroyed 85% of the Portuguese city's buildings and caused a tsunami so powerful that its large waves hit the coast of Brazil more than 4,300 miles or 7,200 kilometers away on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. That is crazy. 4,300 miles for a giant wave to travel. That is insane. That had to have been a very strong earthquake. Which obviously means a lot of people died, of course. But, yeah. Wow. That is why. Have a plan in place in case of an earthquake. Because, those are dangerous. Those can cause serious damage. Plus, it can lead to tsunamis. And those waves can be high and can lead to high waters. So, you better have a plan in place. Be prepared. Be smart. You never know when or if it could happen. Because it could happen anywhere. And it could be small. It could be large. You never know. The chances might be low depending on where you live, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be prepared. Because it's better to be safe than to be sorry. A PSA from Space Pilot Cool Guy. Where would you be without me? Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 7. Never-ending nails. Diana Armstrong has fingernails with a combined length of just over 42 feet and 10 inches or 13 meters longer than a bus. Her longest nail is her right thumbnail at just over 4.67 feet, or 1.4 meters. She hasn't cut her fingernails for over 25 years, and their extreme length means she no longer drives or wears clothes with zippers. It takes her 5 hours to file and polish her nails, using up to 20 bottles of nail polish at a time. That's a long time to go without cutting your nails, and that's a long time to file and polish your nails. Like, why would you want to do that? I mean, I, I mean, yeah, you have free will, but why would you make that choice? Because that means there's a lot of things you just can't do anymore. Right? Like, yes, you can no longer drive or wear clothes with zippers. But, like, you can't cook. I mean, it's going to be very hard to cook, you know. Or washing your hands, like, that would probably be very difficult, you know. Or opening the door, right? Like, there are just certain things that you either just can't do or it'd be very hard to do, borderlining on can't do it anymore. Right? That's... Why would you want to live like that? I mean, I guess it makes for a long or mid-range weapon, technically. I mean, technically her longest nail is like 4.67 feet, so maybe that's a bit closer to the short range. But, I mean, Alrighty. Well, we move on to fact number 8. Ear-mazing. Africa's bat-eared fox loves to eat dung beetles, and its very large ears give it such good hearing that it can actually hear the beetle eggs hatching inside balls of dung. That is pretty good hearing. That, yeah. And apparently this fox can survive on dung beetles. I'm sure it eats other things. But like, dang, those have gotta be some interesting shaped ears, right? Mm-mm-mm. Man, but like, so I know dung beetles roll balls of dung, but it's an interesting choice to lay your eggs inside said dung. So that makes me wonder, like, when the eggs start to hatch, they, I mean, I guess I guess in order for the baby dung beetles to get out, they'd have to eat their way through the ball to get to the outside, right? Because they want to come into the out now. Alright, but yeah. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 9. Puppy power. A bulldog puppy named Harley nearly chewed off his sleeping owner's big toe without him feeling a thing. Woken by his screaming wife, David Lindsay discovered his toe covered in blood and his foot was completely numb. Scans showed that he had 2 blocked arteries, and the lack of blood flow to his foot could have led to the removal of his entire leg if it hadn't been discovered so early. Dang, that is... I mean, the puppy saved your life, so that's something. On the other hand, though, if you have a puppy, get something for it to teeth on so it doesn't teeth on you. I mean, this was a rare case of it actually being helpful, right? But that's not always the case. So, just be careful. Because it could not end up being good for you. Right? That's why you gotta train your pups from little on. Right? Because if you don't, they'll grow up and it'll be harder to train them. Right? But dang, that's... I mean... I couldn't imagine waking up and seeing that. Seeing what happened to your toe. Right? Like, you didn't feel a thing. And all of a sudden your wife starts screaming. And you wake up in a jolt. Like, what? Because something's wrong. She's in a panic and you don't know what's going on. And then you see your toe has been chewed on and damaged by your pup. Right? I mean, if he managed to stay cool at all, or, stay as calm as he could, that's some pretty good nerves. Well, let's move on to fact number 10. Busy bee. A queen bee can lay up to 2,500 eggs in a single day, twice her body weight. That's a lot of eggs. Wow. Okay. I mean, the birds, depending on the bird, can lay up to like 3. I mean, certain fish can lay like hundreds of eggs. But 2,500? That's 2,500 a day. A day. Right? That's like, I guess, millions a year. Maybe hundreds of thousands. Right? That's still a lot. A lot. Like, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's, wow. See, I bet you're thinking real hard and second guessing whether or not you're gonna continue to, complain about your workload. I'm sure it's a lot, but now that you've heard this, you're probably thinking, maybe it isn't so bad after all. Yeah, I bet you are. Alrighty. There was 10 random facts you may or may not have known, but you know now. Whether any that you knew, if so, let me know down below, Joe. And, if you have any additional information on these facts that you want to share, well, go ahead and share it. You might not be the only one that finds it interesting. And if you don't know what to say and you don't only think to say hi, well, hi. If you enjoyed, leave a like. And if you don't have to constantly go searching for me, then subscribe. I'll be right there. It'll be easy to find me. And if You hit that notification bell, you'll know the very second a new batch of 10 facts has been sent to you. I mean, you don't have to, but if you really enjoy the facts and you can't wait for another one, then hit that notification bell so you know when you can get your daily dose of 10 random facts. And share this with others. Don't just keep it to yourself. These are interesting facts. Other people might want to, listen to these facts. And they can't because you're keeping it from them because you're a facts hog. Are you a facts hog? No, I didn't think so. So share. Anyways, I'm Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy, and as I always say, my fellow randoms, to infinity and more facts.
Only human could survive being eaten and still not learn to avoid giant mouths. Just subscribe. The cosmos could use the laugh.